Hey folks, Kilt-Man here, Kilt-Man at your very obscured services. How are you all? You're all doing very, very well. Now, as promised, I would do some more King Kong stuff. Certain people out there have been looking forward to more. The giant ape, the king of Skull Island. And what we've got right here, right now, is Skull Island. Or rather, condensed version of it. This is from the 2005 Peter Jackson King Kong. We know it, we love it. It's the overblown, over-exaggerated, elongated love letter from Peter Jackson to the original 1933 King Kong, which is still the defining masterpiece of giant simian carnage and craziness writ large. Now this is a playset, a toy playset. A load of figures came out for that 2005 King Kong. Loads of Kongs. I've got most of them right there right now. What I can't find, and I've got it, is the bigger electronic King Kong. We know in the film it's Andy Serkis in mocap, but the big electronic version which roars, I've got that. I can't find it. It's one of those things. But don't worry, there's plenty of Kongs to show you. But this, folks, is the Skull Island playset. And I will have to take the camera off its little mount to show you what's going on here, because I know it's kind of obscured. And the sun, which was nice and bright and illuminating before, has kind of retreated somewhat. So you probably can't see too much. But you've got a cardboard playmat, right? A playmat. Just gonna get this back on so you can see what's going on. With a big river running through it. It's just a fold-up card. Your play base, and then you've got various huge edifices, structures. You've got, don't know if you can see right there. There's a little Andaro there, who in the film is played by the delectable Naomi Watts. She's being descended by those pesky coastline living natives in so much fear and awe and wonder of the king of Kongs, that they deliver sacrifices to him. And to be honest, I always found in the movie that their way of doing it was a bit overblown, and kind of what. She's on a bridge and she's actually hanging up and it's suspended and he's going to come through. It just, and you've got molten lava tumbling down the rocks. Can you see there? Don't know if you can see that, but there's actually, it's just painted on. There's lava flowing down these rocks. Well, lava. It's just flaming oil, perhaps. But if you look, I'll show you properly. I'll bring the camera around in a minute. But these structures are nicely carved into, with the sort of big gaping faces and maws and almost like simian-like feet as well, paws. So, and the rocks are nicely detailed, but don't go expecting anything particularly spectacular from this Playmate set, because although it's kind of probably quite rare now these days, but you know, it was kind of mass produced and it's for the kiddie winks amongst us all, and yet there's a kind of weird irony there, because a lot of what you got with the figures and with this set, it was purely horrific. Because what it does detail is, of course, the spider pit, the infamous spider pit, which was always cut out of the 1933 version, although storyboards still exist, and audiences did not like what they saw, so the scene was took out anyway. But we've got no footage remaining of it. But Peter Jackson put that back in there. So when the sailors, the intrepid crew of the Venture, going out to try and rescue Andaro from the clutches of the mighty Kong, they do go across the huge, the log fall across the canyon, which is there. I don't know if you can see it. I'll take the camera around. You can see it. And Kong arrives and shakes them off. Now, in the 1933 version, the sailors would fall through vines and cascade down into the air the base of this horrible sort of lagoon, swampy marsh thing at the bottom, and then be devoured and destroyed by various arachnids and scorpions and crab-like creatures and slugs and just the worst things from your most infernal nightmares. And in Peter Jackson's version, he shows you that. And you've got Andy Serkis, who as the ship's cook, but also a cigar chomping, squinting sort of what's his name? Oh God, the big forearms, Popeye, bit of a Popeye type kind of character, and gets his head literally, pardon the expression, but sucked off by this huge horrible slug-like thing which just envelops him down to the shoulders. Jesus Christ. And they really did go to town on the gore and the nastiness. Sailors are being dragged up off the ground and held into the background to be then shredded, so almost Starship Troopers style, by arachnids in the background. But yeah, in various play sets and figures that you got bugs, if I remember rightly, and I've got a few of them here which I will show you. But anyway, so you've got the tribal sacrificial rock face with the ladder and the elaborate sort of thing that she's hanging off, and there is Andaro there. With this playset, you've got a raft and you've got various other characters from the movie. Now sadly, I can't find the raft and I can't find those figures either. Sorry about that. They're around. They are definitely around somewhere, but I can't find them. And to be honest with you, the figures aren't very good. So what I tended to do, even being the father of, I think, how old was Luke then? He'd be 4 or 5 when this film came out. But he loved it, and we were getting all the figures and everything for him. We were also massively loving Lord of the Rings as well. So, there's a lot of figures in the house, a lot of toys and stuff. But I was using the old Airfix soldiers. Remember Airfix? And all the old infantry figures and paratroopers. You used to try and paint them up. And you get bigger figures, but you get smaller ones, like yay big. And they were great for this. So I'd have them scurrying across, because they were more detailed. They had proper weaponry. You could see them. It was more fun to use them going across that giant log, rather than the figures that Playmates themselves created. So, anyway, I'm going to drag you off that little mount there and show you in a bit more detail what we have here. So, excuse me while I get up close and personal. Oh, hey! So, folks, can you see there? The sacrificial tribal sort of rock face and the altar, which is in this case was a bridge. The bridge does move up and down. It does move up and down. Yeah, you can see that. But look at the Andaro figure. Let's be honest, it's a bit shit, isn't it? That's not exactly the greatest of figures, but you can tell who it is. So you've got that, but and you can see the sort of painted on oil-based fire lava flow that you've got going on there. But it's not bad, is it? There's design work in it. Oh, it's so cheapo stuff, I suppose. But there you go. Rock face there again, with some sort of ledges and vegetation-filled sort of undergrowth. And you've got what almost looks like a bit of a sort of Kong, squashed up Kong face there, almost engraved into the rock effect. So we then swing around here and we find some bugs. Look at this bastard here. What the hell is that? Jesus Christ. You don't want to see that coming near you. You've also got, like, oh God, get on there. Big serpents. Well, to scale, they're bloody huge. I mean, imagine that. Literally snaking up to poor Andaro. Whee. To be honest with you, I'm not entirely certain that some of these creatures and bugs were from this set. They may have strayed in, but there certainly are plenty which are from it. So if we go down here, you can see the river there, and there'll be the raft, which they'd all be shaken off that raft by the Piranha Don or the vicious maritime beasties. But you can see a big bug. You can see an even bigger bug. Now this guy's actually articulated, although can't quite. He does move around a little bit, but not a great deal. But look at him. Ugh, it's not nice. You don't want that coming after you, do you? Let's be honest. If you come along to this side of things, where you've got another big sort of bug thing here. One of the wings is broken there, you may have noticed. But we have a lizard here. I don't think that is actually from this playset, but he fits anyway, regardless. Now, what I'm going to show you now, there's the this is the log, the infamous log where Kong shakes them off it. They're trying to do a canyon crossing, and they'll be shook off it by the mighty ape himself. Now, that guy there, who the hell is that? He's not one of the crew of the Venture, but because I say I can't find the crew of the Venture, and I can't find any Airfix figures as well in time for this video. Would have had them scurrying across, it would have been great. But this log does actually, it does a bit of a shimmy. Can you see that? A bit of it's built to shimmy. You connect this structure, which is beautiful actually. I love that structure there. Can you see the Kong face there? This is like Kong's domain. This is Kong's home. And sort of all over the rock face, you've got steps cut into it, but you've also got like almost like faces, and certainly there's a Kong face there. But you can stand Kong on that side. I'm not going to do it, and you can shake this thing. Well, not a great deal, but enough to topple some figures that might be standing upon it. Let's go around this side. As you can see, there is a Kong figure there. I'll move him out of the way because I'm not talking about him right yet. And there's another moulded sort of side to it. Yeah. Great big spider there. I don't think that spider's part of this set either. Although I could be wrong. I genuinely don't know. I can't remember. But he doesn't look like the same sort of stuff, does he? As all the other creatures and bugs. But he fits perfectly well. This is definitely part of the set. I forget what he's called. Look at them fucking arms he's got there and the big pincers. Look at that. And even his tail, which you think would be a stinger, it's got big bloody pincers as well. And there's some articulation there to this big horrible Scorpio bug type thing. They've all got names. Oh, there's a little button there. Just noticed there's a little button. What does that do? Oh, God. Get off the spider. Oh yeah, there's a little button there, so, you know, if you do that, oh God, it's not working now, he sort of pinces together. Take my word for it. He does, that wasn't working so well, was it? So we've got big spider, we've got this sort of little cross piece here, which fits in to there and over here. The back of this thing, that's me and my kilt. Hello. So you've got ledges to put your other surviving figures on, and there's another angle of the ritualistic altar. Here's another, trying to show you some of the actual base mat that you've got, which is quite nice. There's all tendrils and limbs and things coming out of the water, all drawn on, but it's pretty cool. Pretty cool. Okay, yeah. It's Kong himself. Hello. Yes. Have you seen a nice blonde? Only small, but I find her rather juicy. Yeah. You've got Kong. Peter Jackson's version of Kong. Again, Andy Serkis was in mocap for it. And what you can see here, there's variations of the Kong figure. As you can see, he's ripped up, scarred and battered and bruised. And all the Kong figures that you got, and there were plenty, could all do something different. And they all came with like a different creature, or something that he's fighting against. This one, if I remember correctly, because that's what I've used him as, is the gripping, swinging Kong. He's your big Kong swinger. So you try and get him on that. Can you see this vine hanging off this rather elaborate structure here? Looks a bit like a dragon, doesn't it, that? Looks good. It looks good, doesn't it? It looks good. And if you get him, I'm doing this one-handed, if you get him, oh fuck, you get him on there, and you get his paw like closed down, snapped down, and what you can do, whoa, big action set piece, you can have him swinging in. Can you see? I think the idea is you're meant to remove that, right? And then he could swing all the way through. But I love that being there. But it's just to show you what he can do, what they can do with this. He's swinging. He's the big king of the jungle swingers. There you go. Oops, he's got himself stuck. But there you go. So bugs there, lots of bugs. And you've got these bugs as well. Now, these guys are well, I forgot what they're called. I think they're called, oh God, Vulture Raptors or something. And you do see them in the movie. And you get a couple of these bastards. Kind of gruesomely horrible. Look at his face. Yeah. And there's a variation on him. There's actually two. Because they do carry the characters at some point. So his little clutched sort of aviation sort of avian claws. Again, you're not talking like NECA style detail here, but you know, you've gotten something. Still works, still looks good. Yeah, they're kind of horrible albino little bastards. So just to show you again, like we don't really need this guy. I just found him. I don't even know what he's from, but he's. I just put him on there to show you if. Oh, just can't get the staff, can you? And there's Andaro again. See, that shows you the quality of the figures themselves, and they're not great, are they? You know, so you got the raft. The raft is actually pretty good. I remember the raft being quite decent, and you'd have like a load of figures which could sit on that raft, and they were meant to be reacting to beasts coming up out the water and them about to being overturned. And you know, but they just weren't so detailed. It was better to use the Airfix figures. I'm gonna come around the back again. There you go. So I mean, look at the back. I mean, that's you can utilize that pretty well. Round here, it's kind of like rather barren, you know. But you've got the entranceway and all that. So it's not bad, is it? It's not bad. And what I'm going to do now, I'm going to show you some of the other figures that came, well, at the same sort of time. So I'm going to try to put this back in here. Like so. And we have some more Kongs. I say all these Kongs did something different. See this guy here, right? This is a big punching Kong. Look at his face. He has the snaggle tooth. He's got all the scars and rips all over him. His entire body is. It tells the history of all his strife on the island. He's the last of his kind. There's a fair bit of articulation for a squat little figure like this. It's not too bad, is it really? So you've got like the paws and the fingers move. You've got elbow joints. You've got shoulder joints, and you know, the waist moves around. But you see that big button on the back there. That big button there. It's not a huge cancerous welt. What it is, you get them like that, and you bring that arm down, and you make a fist out of this, like hang on, like so, and you press that button, and he goes. Well, what he does, he gets stuck on your own bloody knuckles, doesn't he? So keep your fingers out the way and go, boom, and he smacks the V-Rex in the jaw. The V-Rex, Kilt-Man? Did you say V-Rex? And yeah, I know that wasn't that impressive, I know, but this is what is it? The Finastosaurus Rex, which is the Skull Island kick-ass version of the T-Rex, which Peter Jackson and Weta, who created all the animals and the denizens of Skull Island, came up with. And here he is. Look at this bastard. Look at this brute. And he's to scale with our Kong. Kong fights these. He fights several of them. And they plummet down a chasm as well, getting caught up in vines and stuff like. And in a tremendous fight sequence, he will repeatedly save Andaro from the jaws of these bastards here and beat the shit out of them. And he will also have a final stand against one of these, and he'll just club it to bits. And then, like in the original 1933 movie with the all stop motion animation, he will play around with the jaws of the dead V-Rex, like just playfully, like an ape, just investigating what's going on there. How do these things really work? Nice homage to the original movie. But so here's the V-Rex, Finastosaurus, I'm sure it's called. His little diddly arms like a T-Rex. He's clearly modelled on a T-Rex, yeah, but he's bigger. If you look at the anatomy of this thing, and I know because I have the Natural History of Skull Island telling me all about this guy, that he has a massively armoured skin, obviously, and his skull is massively armour plated as well. So, and they show like what would be a T-Rex skull, and then the missing link skull, and then this skull for the Skull Island derivative of this Cretaceous period creature. And these are bigger, faster, stronger, and more armour plated than a T-Rex. So Jurassic Park, Jurassic World, suck my Skull Island bony bonds, you bastards, because we could kick your ass. So anyway, but look at him, look at him. I was going to say the head moves. The head doesn't move, but the jaw does, as you'll see in a moment. The back limbs, the big stompers, they move. And the little pathetic things here, which are used for dragging prey, carcasses, you know, keep them close to the chest and close to the mouth. Yeah, they move up and down. Whoosh. There's a tail piece, big long tail piece, fits on there, just clicks in, but there's no articulation there. But what's great about this is, can you see this little spiny button here? Okay, watch, and listen. Yep. And that is working with the same battery. It's now 2022, and that was from 2005 or 2006 maybe when this figure came out. But there's the little speaker there, you can see. And if you look at him, the detail on the armoured hide is fantastic. The face details are great. Look at it, it's great, isn't it? He's a grim looking son of a bitch. Look at him. He's... Yeah. Let's do it again. And you can hear bones and limbs being shredded and crunched. That's a bit of movie. That's movie soundtrack there. And you've got obviously Naomi Harris screaming as well. Naomi Harris. Naomi Watts. Naomi Harris is M, not M. Moneypenny from James Bond. But there's something else this can do as well, which seemed like a bit of fun at the time, but it was also a bit shit at the same time. What you can do with it, when you open his mouth, you could put the figures that came with this in his gob, right? Press your button. Oh, you hear him being crunched. Oh. And he'd swallow them. And there's a little compartment down here in his belly, which you can unhinge, and you retrieve those slain, devoured sailors, and you get them back and put them in all over again. But it was a bit like, and you did get stuck if you put like 2 or 3 in. You'd be like, oh, and you try to get him back, and oh god. But it was a nice idea. He's devouring people. So there's the V-Rex, folks, and look at that. That is a great bit of kit, isn't it? I don't know if you can see. You might be thinking, oh, the paint's come away there. That's not the paint coming away. That's actually part of the detailing on this leathery, scaled, armor-plated hide that he's got. Look at the feet. Feet are great. Nice, lots of detail on them. Paintwork is great on it. That's a really, really good figure, and the sound effects are wonderful. Okay. We have another Kong. I'm not sure what this one meant, because one of them, can you see the vine he's hanging off there, this guy here. Well, one of the figures came with a longer one of these to hang off. And so say it's him. Oh, and it's possibly got more articulation. There's a bit more going on with the legs I can see here. So yeah, you know, this guy comes in, save the day, Tarzan style, beat his chest, bump, 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 and all that kind of stuff. But again, you know, the same sort of detail in the face and the big sort of mountain gorilla, silverback, big bonce, big coconut bonce, scars on the back, scars on the chest, on the arms, on the legs, on the belly, scarred to fuck. I sympathise, because so am I. Well, we've seen that one. Here he is wrestling the Pteranodon. Now, I'll be honest, this might not be the right figure that came with the Pteranodon to wrestle it. It might be one of those, but I fitted him in there. There's the Pteranodon, which you do see, and there's articulation there. That jaw does open. I'm not sure there's a button that does it, but you see that little hinge jaw. It's a snake eel like piranha, and we have our Kong here, you know, wrestling with him. But if you look at this Kong's face, look at the jaws on that. Jesus Christ! Now there's a button on the back, and well, there's a great big lever on the back of him there, amongst all them scars. And if you do that, he just goes, oh, doesn't do a great deal, does he? I really wouldn't go thinking that, wow, the articulation and the movements are going to be spectacular, but you know, it's something for the kids to enjoy. But look at that. Hey. You know, I take your Kong of Skull Island and Kong, Godzilla versus Kong, and I raise you, because these are better. These are fucking better. Boof, boof, boof. He's punching the shit out of this bastard. Get in there, you fucking thing. Pteranodon. Look at that. Boof, 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 boof. And again. But the Pteranodon itself is actually pretty good. It's pretty well detailed. These aren't, you know, great elaborate NECA figures, as I say, but they have literally so much charm and so much sort of playability, interaction, that you can't go wrong with them. So folks, that is all I can find right now of my King Kong 2005 Skull Island Playmates playset, and I think it's tremendous. I'm sure there's another Kong there. Hang on a second. So we've got one Kong there. We've got that Kong and that Kong with the Pteranodon, and we've got here's the big jaw-breaking, you know, with the little button on his back, the big, you know, roundhouse Kong as well, and there's obviously the V-Rex. But there is the bigger electronic one, which I'm sorry, I can't find it. I genuinely can't find it. And to be fair, he's not to scale with this. He's bigger than the rest of it, so he is his own unique figure. But yeah, there you go. I wish the son had actually done what I wanted it to do, because I wanted you to be able to see this properly. But I guess, you know, the best laid plans of mice and apes. I want to see. Oh yeah. It's probably a good nose hair plucker. And as I say, I'm not entirely sure if that's to do with this. You know, it might be, but I don't know. It doesn't look like one of the things. The spiders in the Peter Jackson spider pit don't look like spiders really, whereas in the old original, what you're meant to have seen in the 1933 version, there's a couple of really big, horrible arachnids in there. But that might just be from, I don't know, something else. But it fits in perfectly well. I'll just take you on that last little trip around this. And if you can hear in the background, there is James Newton Howard's score to the 2005 Peter Jackson version. And Arrow. Oh, you're going to meet the biggest co-star of your life. Look at this. So yeah, a bug down there. See that bug? Oh yeah, let's get this one out. Not sure, but I wouldn't like to encounter it to scale, would you? Or even if that was the size of it anyway, I don't want to meet that. Oh, there's another one down there. There's two of them. It's got a mate. But yeah, these guys, these Vulture Raptor things, and this guy swinging in. So you can have a lot of fun with this, you know, should you be that way inclined. Look at him. Hey. Empire State Building. Yeah. I'm coming. The Big Apple. I'm going to take a big bite out of you. There you go. Well, folks, I hope you could at least see that in the dwindling light here, the dwindling autumn, early evening light. So, King Kong. Massive fan. I will probably do a lot more on King Kong, which will please certainly some of you. Look at me, I'm down here. I'm down here, folks. I'm almost to scale, like a little Kilt-Man on Skull Island. Help me! Help me! Canal, definitely help me, please. Anyway, there you go. I'll catch it all later. So be happy. Be mindful of great big simian gods on distant, far-flung islands. The ecology, got to look after it. The environment, got to look after it. Don't take animals from places where they belong and bring them to the big city. It never works out well, does it? Folks, I've been Shabby Kilt-Man, so please keep it Celtic, keep it Celtic, and I'm going to see you all if I can get around this big beer barrel. And I don't just mean me, I mean the beer barrel all this is sat on. Kong. Come on and do the conga. Woo!